Well, you know what, guys? This is the time I'm going to turn it over to Chico and Adam. Who here doesn't know who Chico and Adam is? Let's start with who here doesn't know Chico, the youngest one? Anyone here not know Chico? Okay, Max. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone here not know who Adam is? No, it seems like most of you guys know Chico and Adam because a lot of you guys have been to camp before. Well, just a very quick introduction. Chico Resch, he's from Minnesota down here in the United States, and he's a goaltender. He played in the NHL as a goalie, and he played in college as a goalie in Minnesota, and he's won a Stanley Cup. I don't know, maybe he's won more than one. Chico will be able to answer that question for me. But beyond that, Chico's also a really, really good friend. And Chico works, and where he actually played for the New Jersey Devils, which is the hockey team that I work for. And Chico, he does a lot of stuff for that team. Outside of calling games on the radio, Chico is a figure that a lot of fans love. You know what's one really cool fact about Chico? They force Chico to eat a lot of food. They do this thing called Chico Eats, and they'll force him to eat as many hot dogs as he possibly can. So I think we should do that at camp some summer. Now, the next one is Adam McQuaid. Adam and I actually went to high school together in PEI. We went to Bluefield when Adam wasn't home, when he was away playing hockey for the Sudbury Wolves in Ontario. And then Adam went on, he got drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then the very first day I started working for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Adam got traded to the Boston Bruins. I did not tell them to trade him. They just ended up trading him when I got there. And then Adam went on and played 10 years in the NHL, and he won a Stanley Cup. And you know what, guys? Adam is one of the most beloved players to ever play in Boston. He recently just announced his retirement. And if you go on social media and you go on Twitter or Facebook, you just see how much the fans love him and how awesome of a player he was there to help them bring home the Stanley Cup to Boston. So I'm going to hand it over now to Chico and Quater. And one quick tidbit, guys. Adam just became a dad. He just had a little son. So if he sounds tired, it's okay. We can forgive him for that. But a big congratulations to Adam and Steph for having a little boy named Roman. So Quater, Chico, I'm handing it over to you guys. And again, if you guys have any questions for Adam and Chico, just make sure you type them down in the chat box, okay? Okay, Adam, Chico, over to you guys.
Oh, well, thank you, Scott. This is Chico Resch. Scott didn't realize also that I did the broadcast for the Devils on television for 20 years. So I have seen so many hockey games. It's incredible, and played a bunch myself. I'm coming to you from Newark, New Jersey, which is about maybe 5 miles from where the New Jersey Devils play. And outside my window here on the right, about 5 miles that way, is where the New York Rangers play, which Adam spent some time with that team as well. But what I want to do, just to set this up, I want to say, first of all, PEI is a very special place. And also the people are very special. I have been a lot of places around the world. Some of those places, I wouldn't want to have been born there or had to have grown up there. Very difficult. But Prince Edward Island is a prince of a place to be from. And so what we want, big thumbs up there. What we want to do tonight is try to bring into focus, like the three groups of kids that were on. You guys did beautifully, because we want to talk about, and this is also for the parents listening or camp people, we're all coaches. We're all on Jesus' team, whether we're all players, but we're also coaches trying to help each other and mentor and give insight or helpful tips on how you can become this or that. And so for me, as I look back on my years in the NHL, I've been with Hockey Ministries for 40 years. I think one of the biggest compliments that a player and ultimately a person can have is they are a complete player. They're complete. They do the physical, which, as some of the boys we're talking about, they work hard. They're in great shape. They work on all the aspects that get you in great physical shape. Someone mentioned being a better teammate. That's the mental part of life. That's the mental part of being a complete player. And the third part of being a complete player, and obviously there's a lot of people, players in the NHL, who do not have the third part. We're trying to bring them to an understanding that they want to add that third part to their life. So I would say a complete player, complete person combines the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And when they're all tied together, you live the abundant life that Jesus talks about. Growing up in Regina, Saskatchewan, I'm not sure I possessed much of any of those three. Physically, I was the smallest guy on the team. I couldn't skate well, so the kids said, "You play goal." I peed my pants a lot. I even peed my pants when I was playing goal. I just didn't have a lot going physically. Wasn't very impressive. And then mentally, I got to tell you, I cried a lot. I was kind of a baby in some ways. I had 5 sisters. They'd pick on me anyway. But mentally, I would feel down a lot. I would feel like, oh, nobody likes me. I'm no good. Mentally, I wasn't strong. And then the third thing was spiritually, everyone, I didn't really know. I mean, I kind of heard about Jesus. Maybe I thought a little bit about him as akin to kind of a Santa Claus, where he's kind of there if you need him. You can call on him. You go to church sometimes and hang out, maybe hear a few things, but then you leave, and then you just get back into your regular life. So I didn't really understand the spiritual part either. And I just got to say this of hockey. There's a lot of Toronto Maple Leaf fans. This is the only personal story. Here's why I don't like the Toronto Maple Leafs, first of all. When I was about 8 or 9, growing up in Regina, I loved the Chicago Blackhawks. I wanted a Chicago Blackhawks sweater with that, that Indian head on there. Just gorgeous. I loved everything about the Blackhawks. So I said to my dad, you think Santa Claus could bring me the Chicago Blackhawk jersey? And he said, well, I'll see what I can do. But remember, that was a long time ago. That was like in the early 50s, and sports stores and businesses didn't have every jersey. It wasn't like today you couldn't order them online or whatever. You'd go to the sporting store in your local city, like in Charlottetown, and you'd go in there, and what they had is what you got. So anyway, I was expecting to get the Chicago Blackhawks jersey, and it was Christmas morning, and I saw that present wrapped up, and I felt it, and I knew it was a jersey, and I just was so excited. I tore that thing open, and I tore it, and I held it up in front of me, and it was a Toronto Maple Leaf jersey. I said, no, not the Leafs. I never liked them then, and I don't like them now. And I know there's a lot of Leaf fans, but the one thing it's interesting about, we're talking about the mental. A really prominent writer in Toronto just wrote about the Leafs. He said, it's obvious that the Leafs have skill, and we all know that. But he said, but do they have the will? And that's kind of a little bit what we're talking about when we talk about the two first factors, the physical and the mental. You can be skilled, but if you don't have the will, then that's not going to get you to the goal you want to go. And then finally, the spiritual part is in a dimension that isn't mentioned very often, but we're going to talk about it tonight. And, I called Adam, and he's been so great. Like Scotty said, he's tired, up and down with Roman. What a great name. That's a great hockey name, Adam, that you and Steph chose, Roman. He was willing to come on, and I said, Adam, you were the type of young boy that if someone looked at you, they might not have noticed. You were shy. Yeah, he works hard, but they didn't know the real inner you. And as you developed, you became that complete player, that complete person, combining the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And so I want to bring Adam in, and we're going to just have a little conversation here. And first of all, as Scott said, unfortunately, Adam had to retire. But, I loved your comment, Adam. Adam said, hey, don't feel sorry for me, basically. I have been so blessed to play 10 years in the National Hockey League. And what a great attitude, recognizing what he has, not what he thinks he should have gotten. And I think that's a big part of life sometimes. We don't appreciate what we have, like being born in PEI. What a blessing. But now, Adam, So just tell me a little bit. You're 10 years old now. I want to know just a little bit of your approach physically, like the physical part of the three aspects of becoming a complete player. What kind of young boy were you physically?
Sure. First, I just want to say hi to everybody. It's great to see everyone on the call tonight. I'm really hoping we get to see everybody again this summer. We're looking forward to it. Really missed not getting to be at camp last summer, and just really happy to see everybody's faces on here. So I guess starting off for me, the physical part. Has always been, and you know what, the funny thing is that even from, let's say, 10 years old, like Chico said, till I was 32 years old my last year playing. Really things didn't change that much. I was always working on my skating, working on my shooting, really just pushing myself and challenging myself to try new things, and always trying to get better. I think that's the key with the physical part. As I got older, I wasn't always, you guys see me now, I'm one of the taller guys, but I wasn't always one of the taller guys. I kind of was just in middle of the road, like Chico said, pretty shy, pretty quiet, just kind of went about my business. But those were areas physically that were focuses of mine at a young age, and even right up until my last year's playing.
Well, very good, Adam. When you were young, Adam, like me, if we thought about the mental part of the game, we didn't really think about it. You just, like someone said, I want to be a better teammate. But can you think about when you're 10, 11, and 12, what the mental part of the game, if it did have any impact on you, what you were thinking at that time?
Um, this is an area that I definitely improved on over the years. I think one area for me, a lot of people talk about working hard as would probably put that in the physical category. For me, working hard is a mental thing more than anything. It's a choice to show up every day, to work hard, and that takes, as much as it's physical, it's mental, because some days your body doesn't feel, you might be a little more tired or whatever the case might be. So it can be a choice to work hard. And as I got older, I think that the important things were, staying focused on improving on my goals, not getting frustrated with trying new things, because it takes time to improve. If you try something a few times and it doesn't work, it's easy to say, I can't do it. A big thing mentally is to say, all right, like, I'm going to stick with this, and I'm going to, maybe you're not going to get the full results, but you're going to slowly work your way towards getting it. And I guess part of that is just staying positive, even when some games aren't going your way or not playing your best, because that's going to happen. Like, I had many games in the NHL that I just didn't have it. I wasn't seeing the ice very well. Maybe my legs felt a little heavy, but I had to stay positive, and I had to just take it one shift at a time. So that's kind of been the mental aspect for me.
Adam, I don't know about you, but when you're like 10, 11, 12, 13, let's be honest, we are all kind of self-centered. I mean, we're nervous. We're wondering, what do people think about me? How good of a hockey player am I? Am I as good as that other defenseman, that winger, the forward? I had a few close friends that I was aware of in a mental sense, to be kind and friendly. But do you think it's common that a lot of young hockey players maybe aren't aware of the mental part of that game, like, in some way?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's easy to overlook that, because you know, a lot of times you just see what people are doing physically. You see them skating, you see them shooting, whatever the case might be, but you don't see what they're thinking. You can't really
Mm.
see that. You can't see if someone is giving themselves positive reinforcement or if they're speaking negatively to themselves. And you know, that goes such a long ways. I know when I was younger, sometimes I would almost know if I was going to have a good game based off my first shift. If I had a good first shift, I was like positive. I'm like, all right, I got it. I'm going to have a good game. If I maybe didn't have a good shift, I would focus on that. I would dwell on that. I wouldn't be able to park it, move on to the next shift. So that's something that I wish I learned at a younger age that really helped me as I got older, being able to just take it one shift at a time, good, bad, doesn't matter. You move on. That helped me a lot as I got older, but it was something that took me some time to learn.
Oh, that's terrific, Adam. That is so well explained. You know, it just with that in regards, if you want to be a complete player, Adam, and you see a teammate, you know, you're again 10, 12, 13, doesn't matter. And he always seems to get angry, or he kind of snaps, or he does something that's, you know, you just think, why is he doing that? He's a jerk. What you said, I loved, and maybe you could just expand upon a little bit for all of us in all of our lives, but especially with young players, how that person reacting outwardly might mean he or she is not just a jerk, but they're maybe having a problem with something. Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I mean we'll probably touch on that a little bit later. And Max mentioned about being a good teammate and a supportive teammate and what that looks like. And I think that that's can be twofold. Like there can be two parts of that. One can be, you know, to be a good teammate, you sometimes you have to be able to control your emotions, because being part of a team isn't necessarily, it's not just about you, right? So you have to be able to control getting frustrated. And again, that comes into play with sometimes some shifts aren't going to be the best. You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And that's just part of the game. It's going to happen. So when that happens and you see somebody maybe getting frustrated, as a teammate, you can go to them and say, hey, don't worry about it. We all make mistakes. We're on the same team. I'm here to back you up. I know, you know, a story for me is early on in my career, I was playing in Boston and I just wasn't having a good game. And Zdeno Chara, a lot of you guys probably know who that is. He was the captain for the Bruins, played in the NHL for a long time. He's now playing in Washington. He said to me, Adam, I got your back. Don't worry about it. You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I got you. Some days I'm going to make mistakes and you're going to back me up. And it was just that encouragement that made me relax. And I played so much better. And yeah, I just knew that we were in it together. So
That's a great story, Adam. And just one other little thing to touch on. Now, as an outside fan, excuse me, and I know a lot of the people listening would see that. A friend of yours, a good friend of yours, Brad Marchand, from the outside, he looked like a jerk. He did some things that got him in trouble, got him suspended, you know, wasn't what we would think was a cool thing for a player to do. But again, you knew him differently, didn't you?
yeah, I mean, him and I are really good friends. We played 11 years together. So I played 12 years professionally, and 11 of them him and I were on the same team. So we got to know each other really well. And, you know, part of that is building friendship off the ice. You know, yes, there were times where he did things that he regretted. And he admitted that. I think being friends, you're able to go to them and say, hey, what were you thinking there? Like, you can talk through it and understand where they're coming from and maybe help them make a better decision the next time. So he's a great friend, and some of the things he does on the ice, it doesn't reflect who he is as a person off the ice. Like we've said before, that sometimes people do things on the ice that aren't their character off the ice.
Very well put. Those are two great examples. We just played your former team, the Bruins, the last two games, and I really admire Brad. His game has changed. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. And I think what we're talking about, Adam, if some of the kids said they want to be better teammates, when you see a teammate that's difficult, maybe you sometimes say, I don't even like being around him because he might make fun of me, whatever it is, just understand, as Adam said, there is a way to help that person rather than pile on and say, yeah, he's a jerk. And Adam talked about communication, getting to know him, asking him some questions about something else in his life. And those are two great examples of how you become a better teammate. Now, the third thing is, Adam, I'm thinking of the spiritual part. And again, when I was 10 up until I was 32, didn't really give Jesus, God, much thought about him certainly helping me. I thought, well, maybe, he's out there and he's going to do something good if I need him. But I didn't really think of it day to day. He's going to help me. How about you as a young boy? What was the spiritual part of playing hockey like for you back then?
Well, like I said, I was pretty shy and probably would say like nervous. I was nervous a lot of the time. I was nervous before games, nervous before going to school, nervous about tests. It's just, I don't know, just the way I was, and even still am a little bit today. But where I was able to get comfort is saying a prayer. I think I've told some of you guys on here before. I would say a prayer before I went to school. Sometimes my mom would say prayers with me. Pray before games, and you know what? It just helped relax me. It helped me feel like God was with me and everything was going to be all right. And so, that's at a young age. I had that in my corner, and even today, or my last years playing, I prayed before games. I prayed between shifts. I prayed after games. I was constantly praying. And for some of you guys that haven't heard this from me before, praying there's nothing that really needs to be too special about it. It can be just a conversation, just talking to God like a friend. Tell him, hey, God, I'm nervous right now. Can you please be with me? Please help me. Please calm my nerves. I think a prayer that can be really impactful is praying, just that you can give your best effort, that you can be a supportive teammate and have fun in the process. So those are kind of things that were focuses for me, and I think would be good focuses for anyone that wants to, be a successful hockey player and also continue their, relationship, I guess, with God.
Again, beautifully put, Adam. That's so clear. And Adam, I think one of the things that I didn't realize then, and I think you did get that sense because of your prayer with your mom. I think a lot of people say God's out there, Jesus is out there, but are they really for me? Like, irregardless of what I do, whether I act up, I'm not the complete person. Does Jesus really want me to be the best hockey player? Does he really want me to be the best teammate? Does he really want me to have an impact on other people if you're in another walk of life? And the answer is yes. And just listening to you, Adam, I could sense that what a gift that was that your parents gave you to help you understand, hey, Jesus isn't here, to work against you. He's here to make you the complete player. Now, I just want to say, everyone listening, we've talked about the three aspects of being a complete player. But then, okay, how do I implement that? How do I put that into my game? Like all those kids that are talking about improving, what should I think about? How can I do things that will help enhance me getting to the goal of, I don't know if I'm going to make the NHL, but when my career's over, if it's when I'm 15, 16, I want to think that I was a complete player. So we've talked about those three things. I just want to say one other thing before we go on. You may not make the NHL, but I want to just say this about people from PEI. I think of Dougie McLean. He was a coach and became a general manager in the NHL, had a very successful career. I want to think of George Matthews, who made the NHL as one of the best announcers. He broadcast for the Columbus Blue Jackets for over 10 years, right? I want to think of Scotty Harris. Scotty Harris is in the NHL. Scotty Harris has a job that is going to influence the future of the New Jersey Devils for years to come. So I just want you to see the big picture, players, and women too. Like there's so many fine young women that have really good jobs in the NHL. A lot of Canadians, whether it's broadcasting, in the office, working on different things. So here's what, and I'll let Adam finish up here, but here's what I want you to understand. Yes, you want to make the NHL. So did Adam, so did I. We made it as players. But there are so many other avenues, not just to make the NHL, but for you to be an impactful person in whatever community you're in. And you learn those things by playing hockey and becoming the complete player. Then you'll take those skills and people will see them and they'd say, whatever the team is they're asking you to be on, whether it's hockey or it's business or it could be another job in the NHL, they'll say, hey, I want him on my team. Like Scotty Harris, I know the reason that he got hired was because of his attitude in all areas. So I just want you to keep that big picture in mind as you're playing, as you listen now to Adam wrap this up. Yes, you want to make the NHL, but there are other great jobs in hockey and great jobs in general that you will benefit from by becoming a complete player at whatever age you are now. So Adam, I want you to finish up, Adam, and you've done such a great job of thinking through these things and making them so clear. If you're playing for the Boston Bruins before a game, they got a game plan. Guys, here's what we got to do. Adam, you got to be the first in the corner. Whatever it is. Sometimes people, especially when I was young, I didn't have a game plan. But Adam has spent some time thinking about a game plan that if you follow, it's not that you could get better, it's you will get better if you follow these points that Adam is going to bring up. I don't know, mom and dad, or if the kids are there, if you have a paper and pencil, I find for me, if I write something down, I can go back to it. It's a reminder. But please try to pay attention and really digest and listen to what Adam's going to tell you on a way you can become that complete player in whatever you do.
All right. So as we've been talking about here, the physical strength, mental strength, and spiritual strength. I was thinking about it, and for me, that order is in reverse. For me, it starts with spiritual strength. So what does spiritual strength come from? I mean, it's being thankful that you get to play. Looking at it as using the gifts and talents that God gave you. And the thing is with this is that we all have different talents and we all have different gifts and we can play different roles. We're not all made the same way, which makes it perfect. That's what makes a team. And then trusting God that he is in control and with you, whether you win or lose. He's always going to be there. you're no less important to him if you win the game or if you lose the game. It's about how you handle both of them, winning with humility and losing with grace. Those are important things. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it starts with being thankful to God for the talent and ability to play hockey. And if you have that first, you then mentally, you can focus on giving your best effort as a way to thank God for being able to play. And if you're giving your best effort, it's only natural that you're going to improve your physical strength when you're in your skating and your shooting and those aspects that, important parts of being a hockey player. But for me, it starts with the spiritual strength, because that gives me the mental focus to want to work hard for God, because he gave me these talents. And then if I'm working hard, again, it's just natural that you're going to continue to improve. I was also thinking a little bit about, what does it mean to be a complete player? For me, I was talking about being able to say a prayer before going to the rink. And what's important about that for me is that it gets me thinking the right way, thinking about the important things. What do I want to get out of my practice or my game that day? And for me, I said earlier, it's giving my best effort. So that's, working hard, giving my best effort that day. Some days you're going to feel better than others. Some days you're going to play better than others, but ultimately giving your best effort, being a supportive teammate, and having fun. So what does it look like to give your best effort? Basically, doing the best you can. We all know when we're giving our best effort. We can look at ourselves and say, did I do my best today? I can't look at Scott and some days and say, he's not giving his best. He really knows if he's giving everything he has. And really, that's all that God asks of us. In anything that we do is to just give our best effort, be honest in our effort, and that's all that we can ask of ourselves, and that's all God asks of us. So the next thing is being a supportive teammate, which I think personally is probably the most important thing of being a hockey player and just life in general, in school, whatever it is you guys end up doing. If you play other sports, if you want to be a doctor, a teacher, a truck driver, whatever it is you want to do. And what does that look like? That looks like, we talked about earlier, encouraging others. If they're having a hard time with a drill, if they're having maybe they're not having their best game, you can reassure them that you're there to help. You can encourage them, say, you got this, keep trying. Because it really helps. We talked about the mental part. You can help each other with the mental part of the game. You can keep each other positive, right? Other than just words, there's easy things you can do. You can give a tap on the pads if it's a goalie, tap on the shin pads, a high five, a fist bump. It's also really important that, before and after games, we're in the dressing room, that, you're not taking part in any teasing or making fun of, that you're making sure that everybody's feeling welcome and feeling a part of the team, right? We all know how important it is to really feel included. And, again, that's the great thing about being on a team. And that's the great thing about hockey. The sport of hockey is it's a team sport. It's not tennis or golf where you don't have teammates. That's the fun thing. We talked earlier about, not getting frustrated and slamming your stick. And that's really important, to be a supportive teammate. When things maybe aren't going your way, that you're still able to stay positive and stay focused. And I think listening and respecting your coaches and the refs, that's also really important, because supportive teammates know how important it is to have the respect of the coach, and you want to respect the refs because their job is not too easy, right? So the last thing is having fun, right? Pretty simple, but hockey is meant to be fun. God wants us to have fun. Hockey was created to have fun. So show up at the rink, have a smile on your face, you know, every shift, every drill, enjoy it, right? It's someone told me once that, and something I tried to think of was a really simple phrase: every shift is a gift. So every time you get to go out there, it just keeps you in a real positive mindset. You know, you're very fortunate and thankful that you get to play, and that's going to keep you in the right mind frame. So lastly, I'll wrap it up, is, you know, at the hockey camp, what do we do at the end of every practice? We huddle up, we say a prayer. So I like, after games, I get in the dressing room, I like to just say a little prayer, quick prayer to God, thank him for that day's practice, that game, you know. Yeah, I think it's just so important to be thankful that we get to play, that we're healthy, that we get the opportunity to play. And again, when you're thankful and you're grateful, it keeps you in a positive mindset. You can't help but be positive. And I will say, once you say that prayer, you're then in your head, you're going to be thinking in a thankful way. Make sure you thank your parents, thank your coaches. My parents were so supportive of me. None of us would get to the rink if it wasn't for our parents. We wouldn't have gear if it wasn't for our parents. So it's important to thank them and the coaches as well, because they take a lot of time to coach us and try and help us develop as players and as young boys and girls, right? So those are a few things I thought were important, and I hope that you guys can use some of them, and that'll help your game and help you guys as hockey players and as people. And like I've always said, it's so important that we try our best to be positive influences and impacts on one another, and especially our peers, those that are like around the same age as us. A quick story: Scott and I, as he said, we went to high school together. And Scott doesn't even know this until this day, but he was a major influence on me in high school, just by the way he carried himself and how on fire he was for God and how he treated other people. And, you know, it was so easy to tell that he cared. And I remember thinking, man, like, I like how this guy carries himself. I want to do more of that. I want to be more like that. So you guys all have a chance to do that, and you're all capable of it. And that's 16 years ago. So that's, most of you guys weren't even born, and I still remember that. So even the things you guys do today, they can have long impacts on people. All right.
Well, I just must say, Adam, that just that was the best presentation I've ever heard. It was clear, it was concise, it was a plan, a game plan that everyone can follow. And why it resonated with me, and should everyone who listened, if you know Adam just doesn't talk. A lot of people write books, they talk, they tell you what you should do, but they haven't really done it. But we know with Adam McQuaid, one of the finest people from PEI I know, and there's some great people from PEI. He speaks from the heart, and he's lived it. And I'll just say to everyone, and I'll give it back to Scott, Adam is retired, and it just came out. It's on the hockey website, the NHL.com just put it up today, Adam. And Adam's now going to start the second stage of his life, which is going to be just as exciting, have maybe more of an importance in his and Stephanie's life as he goes forward. So when you're saying your prayers tonight, you're thinking about Adam, just say, Lord, help Adam find the answer to what he wants to do in the next stage of his life. And I'm not God, Adam, but with what you, how clear, concise, inspiring you were, I'd like to see you be a coach. I'm just throwing that out there. But wherever you are led, I'm just so thankful that you're a friend and you so inspired me as well as everyone else.
Thanks,
And
Chico.
thank you, Scott. Unless Adam have you have one final word, otherwise we'll throw it to Scott. You good?
No, I just wanted to say thanks to all you guys for listening, and for coming on and spending some time with us. Again, it was so great to see everybody, and hopefully we'll see you guys all again soon.